The second I opened my banking app, my heart plummeted. $20,000. Every dime I'd scraped together for a home of my own had vanished. I stood in the dim glow of my Cleveland kitchen, the phone slipping in my trembling hand, the zero on the screen a brutal slap after years of grueling nursing shifts. Just hours ago, I'd been at the Harvest Supper reunion I'd poured my soul into, surrounded by my parents, Diane and Robert, my dazzling sister Megan, and her arrogant husband Chad, in the warmly lit church hall. Their laughter had filled the air, but now it rang hollow, tainted by a betrayal I couldn't yet name. Who had dared to steal my future? I'd always been the shadow in Megan's spotlight, the daughter who could never outshine her charm. I remembered her triumphant smile years ago when Diane praised her latest promotion while I stood clutching a report card full of A's, unnoticed. Yet I never dreamed they'd cross this line. When I confronted Chad, his smirk was a blade to my heart. "We needed it more than you," he sneered, his voice thick with contempt. The words burned, reigniting every moment I'd been dismissed, by my parents' cold glances, by Megan's careless shrugs. My fingers brushed the silver ring in my purse, a gift from Diane when I was 10, engraved with family. It felt like a lie now, but I clung to it, a fragile thread to a love I still wanted to believe in. "Then you won't mind what's coming next," I said, my voice steady despite the fury coiling inside me. Their laughter echoed through the hall, sharp and mocking, but a faint creak from the porch cut through the noise. My pulse raced. Someone was out there. A deafening bang shattered the moment, and the church hall's heavy oak door swung open. A tall figure stood silhouetted against the autumn night, his face half hidden but achingly familiar, like a memory from a life I'd left behind. Was he here to unravel the truth or to deepen the deception? My mind flashed to Ethan, the quiet paramedic who'd once sat with me at this very supper, his kind eyes seeing the woman my family never did. Could it be him stepping into this chaos? Or was this another trap orchestrated by the family I'd trusted? The ring pressed against my palm, a reminder of the strength I'd need to face whatever came next. I wouldn't let them break me. Not tonight, not ever. Sunlight streamed through the stained glass windows of the Cleveland church hall, casting a kaleidoscope of colors over the tables I'd spent hours arranging for the Harvest Supper reunion. Every napkin folded, every pot of chili simmering, carried a fragile hope of mending the frayed ties with my family. The scent of cornbread and cider filled the air, a comforting promise of warmth, but my stomach knotted with the weight of their expectations. Diane bustled in, her eyes scanning my work with a familiar frown, while Robert trailed behind, already praising Megan's latest marketing coup before even greeting me. Their dismissal stung, a reminder of my place as the overlooked daughter. Yet I pressed on, clinging to the dream of a family united. At the supper, the hall buzzed with neighbors, families of all backgrounds, from the Wilsons with their boisterous kids to Mrs. Alvarez, who always slipped me an extra tamale. Their chatter was a balm, a stark contrast to the coldness at my family's table. Chad, lounging with a beer, tossed barbs about my small-town nurse life, his words sharp as thorns. Megan, radiant in a silk blouse, accepted Diane's compliments with a practiced smile, while I cleared plates in silence. A memory surfaced, Diane slipping Megan money for college while telling me to make do with loans. The unfairness gnawed, but I buried it, focusing on the community's warmth, the one place I felt seen. Midway through the evening, I shared my plan to buy a modest house on Maple Street, a dream built on years of overtime. The table fell quiet. Robert grunted, unimpressed, and Diane changed the topic to Megan's new condo. Chad's chuckle cut deep. A nurse buying a house? Good luck. Humiliation burned my cheeks, but I forced a smile, my hand brushing the silver ring in my pocket, its family engraving now a bitter irony. Why did I keep hoping they'd see my worth? The community's applause for the supper's success drowned out their indifference, yet the ache lingered, a wound I couldn't name. As the night wound down, I lingered in the hall, stacking chairs under the soft glow of string lights. Mrs. Alvarez squeezed my shoulder, whispering, "You're enough, mija." Her words were a lifeline, but doubt crept in. Had I been blind to my family's true colors all along? The ring felt heavy, a tether to a love that might never exist. Then a flicker of movement caught my eye. Ethan, the paramedic who'd once shared coffee with me at last year's supper, stood by the door, watching with those steady, knowing eyes. Did he see the storm brewing in me? Before I could speak, he vanished into the crowd, leaving a question hanging in the air. Morning light barely pierced the fog outside my apartment as the banking app loaded, revealing a gut-punch truth. $20,000, my lifeline to a new beginning, had been siphoned away. The transaction log showed a transfer to an unfamiliar account, time-stamped just after the harvest supper. Shock gave way to a simmering dread. Someone close had betrayed me. Diane's curt voice echoed from a phone call moments later, brushing off my panic with a clipped, "You're overreacting." Robert's gruff dismissal followed, suggesting I'd misplaced the funds. Their nonchalance was a blade, twisting deeper with every word. At the hospital, between checking charts and soothing patients, my mind churned. A patient's grateful smile couldn't quell the storm inside. Chad's smug face flashed, his sneer from the supper haunting me. Could he have orchestrated this? His tech job gave him the know-how, but why target me? A fleeting image of him whispering to Megan at the reunion sparked suspicion. The silver ring, tucked in my scrubs pocket, pressed against my thigh, a reminder of a family that seemed to value me less than their pride. Why had I ever trusted them to see me? Lunch break brought a tense visit to the bank, where a teller confirmed the transaction's legitimacy but offered no answers. Frustration clawed at my chest, but a deeper hurt surfaced. The memory of Diane's promise at my high school graduation, vowing to support my dreams, only to funnel her savings to Megan's ventures. That broken pledge now felt like a prelude to this theft. The teller's sympathetic glance mirrored my own dawning realization. My family's betrayal might run deeper than a single act. Back at the hospital, a colleague, Sarah, noticed my distraction and pressed for details. Her outrage at the story fueled my resolve, but doubt gnawed. What if I'd overlooked a clue? I recalled Mr. Thompson, a family friend, who'd asked about my savings at the supper, his questions oddly probing. Had he played a role? My fingers traced the ring's engraving, its family inscription, mocking the trust I'd clung to. Sarah's encouragement, "You're tougher than they know," lit a spark, urging me to dig deeper, no matter the cost. Evening fell, and alone in the break room, I scoured bank emails for any trace of the transfer's origin. A cryptic notification hinted at a linked account, but the details were locked behind a password I didn't have. Exhaustion battled with a growing fire in my gut. The hospital's quiet hum faded as a chilling thought struck. What if this wasn't just about money, but a deliberate move to keep me small? A faint noise outside the door snapped me alert. Someone was lingering in the hallway. their shadow flickering under the frame. Rain streaked the windows of the church hall as the community gathered for a post-harvest supper cleanup, their chatter a stark contrast to the storm brewing inside me. Diane orchestrated the volunteers with a practiced smile, but her gaze turned icy when it landed on me, scrubbing tables in silence. The bank's confirmation burned in my mind. The stolen $20,000 had funneled directly into Megan's failing marketing firm. Confronting Diane, her dismissive scoff, "You're making a scene," ignited a raw ache. Robert's grumble, "Focus on your job, not fantasies," deepened the wound. Their united front, a wall I couldn't breach. Amid the clatter of stacked chairs, Megan glided in, her elegance untouched by the tension. Her evasive glance when I mentioned the money sparked a memory. Her tearful plea years ago for a loan I couldn't afford, followed by Diane's insistence that I help family. Had that moment planted the seed for this theft? The silver ring in my pocket felt like a shackle, its promise of unity now a cruel jest. Megan's quick deflection, "Why would I need your money?" rang hollow, her polished facade cracking under my stare. The room's warmth couldn't thaw the chill of her betrayal. Outside, under the church's awning, the sting of public scrutiny hit. Mrs. Wilson, a neighbor, whispered to another about my drama, their sideways glances like pinpricks. Shame battled fury as I realized the community's goodwill might waver if I pushed too hard. A fleeting image of Ethan's steady presence at the supper surfaced, his quiet strength a contrast to this chaos. Had he sensed the fracture in my family even then? The thought fortified me, but the weight of judgment pressed heavier, threatening to drown my resolve. Why did proving my worth feel like betraying their trust? Back inside, the cleanup wound down, and I cornered Chad by the coffee urn, his smug demeanor unshaken. His taunt, "You're nothing without us," unleashed a torrent of pent-up rage. Voice trembling, I demanded answers, only for him to laugh, loud enough to draw eyes. Diane's sharp reprimand followed, "Stop embarrassing us." The hall seemed to shrink, every stare a reminder of my isolation. A buried memory clawed free. Chad's late-night calls with an unknown contact during the supper, his hushed tones suddenly sinister. Could he be the key to unlocking the scheme? As volunteers dispersed, I lingered, sorting through a stack of donation receipts, desperate for any clue. A slip of paper, tucked among the pledges, caught my eye. A bank transfer note with Megan's firm's logo, dated the night of the supper. My pulse quickened. This was no coincidence. The hall's silence amplified my racing thoughts, but a soft rustle from the storage room broke the spell. Someone was there, hidden in the shadows, watching my every move. Twilight draped the Cleveland church parking lot in a soft haze as a memory flickered. Diane, years ago, whispering to Megan about securing the future while I washed dishes, unnoticed. That hushed promise now took on a sinister edge, fueled by the bank transfer note found among the supper receipts. Alone in my apartment, the glow of my laptop revealed a chilling truth. A hired forensic accountant, recommended by Sarah, traced the stolen $20,000 through a maze of accounts, all leading to Megan's firm. But the real shock was a hidden email chain, uncovered in a hacked family shared drive. Diane and Robert had orchestrated the theft, funneling my savings to prop up Megan's collapsing business, believing I'd never notice. The revelation hit like a thunderclap, shattering the fragile hope of family loyalty. The silver ring, now on my bedside table, gleamed mockingly, its family engraving a hollow lie. Another memory surged, Diane's tight-lipped refusal when I'd asked about our inheritance as a teen, followed by her lavish gifts to Megan. Had they always planned to sacrifice my dreams for her glory? The accountant's report detailed months of small, covert transfers, each one a deliberate cut, disguised as errors. Betrayal wasn't just an act, it was their strategy, and I'd been their pawn. Fury mingled with a newfound clarity in the quiet of my living room. No longer the overlooked daughter, a resolve took root, sharp and unyielding. The community's faith in me, Mrs. Alvarez's warm words, Sarah's fierce support, became a shield against the pain. But a darker question loomed. How far would my family go to protect their secret? The email chain hinted at a meeting they'd planned at the church hall tomorrow, coded as final steps. My hands trembled, not with fear, but with purpose. This wasn't just about money anymore. It was about reclaiming my voice. A late-night walk through the neighborhood, under the rustle of autumn leaves, stirred a vivid flashback. At last year's harvest supper, Ethan had lingered by my side, his quiet question, "Why do you let them dim your light?" cutting through my defenses. His words echoed now, a spark igniting my determination. Had he seen their cruelty even then? The thought of his steady presence bolstered me, but doubt crept in. Could I trust anyone after this? The ring's cold metal, when I slipped it back on, felt like a challenge to confront the truth, no matter the cost. Back home, a plan formed under the flicker of a single lamp. The church's annual Harvest Festival, a vibrant celebration of Cleveland's diverse community, was days away. It would be the perfect stage to expose their deceit, with the town as witness. The accountant promised more evidence by morning, transaction logs, perhaps even voice memos. Each piece was a weapon, but wielding them meant risking the family I'd once loved. A sleep eluded me, a faint glow from my phone caught my eye. An anonymous text, just 3 words. "They're watching you." My breath caught. The darkness outside suddenly alive with unseen eyes. Lanterns swayed above the Cleveland Harvest Festival, their golden light bathing the church grounds where families of every background, Black, Latino, white, danced to bluegrass and shared plates of cornbread. The festive hum masked a churning resolve as I clutched a folder of evidence, bank logs, emails, and a damning voice memo from Diane plotting to borrow my savings. Stepping onto the makeshift stage, heart pounding against ribs, the microphone felt like a lifeline. The crowd's chatter faded, eyes turning to me, a nurse they'd known for years, now trembling with a truth too heavy to hold alone. Words poured forth, steady despite the quiver in my chest. The story of my stolen $20,000 unfolded, how Diane and Robert siphoned it to rescue Megan's failing firm, how Chad's sneers had mocked my pain. Faces in the crowd shifted from curiosity to shock. Mrs. Alvarez gripped her husband's hand, her nod urging me on. A memory flashed, Diane's proud smile when I became a nurse, a rare moment of warmth now tainted by her betrayal. The silver ring, left at home, no longer bound me to their lies. My voice was my strength now. Diane pushed through the crowd, her face a mask of outrage. "She's lying," she shouted, her voice shrill against the festival's din. Robert stood behind, his silence louder than her denial. I held up the folder, its pages fluttering in the autumn breeze, and read an email aloud. "Lauren won't fight back. She never does." Gasps rippled through the audience, but Chad's cold laugh cut sharper. "You're pathetic," he spat, echoing his taunt from the supper. My response was calm, deliberate. "Then why are you so scared of me now?" The crowd murmured, some nodding, their faith in my family crumbling. Pain surged, not from their words, but from the public airing of a wound I'd hidden for years. The festival's joy, children laughing, couples swaying, contrasted with the raw ache of exposing my family's deceit. Yet, standing there, I felt a shift, like shedding a skin too tight. A voice from the past echoed, Ethan at last year's festival, saying, "You're stronger than you know." His belief, even absent, fueled me. The crowd's growing support, Mrs. Wilson's clenched fist, a stranger's whispered, "Keep going," became a chorus, drowning out Diane's protests. For the first time, I wasn't invisible. As I stepped off the stage, the folder still in hand, the crowd parted, some offering quiet words of solidarity. Diane's glare followed, her lips tight, but Megan's absence was louder. Where was she? The question gnawed, a thread left dangling in the chaos. The festival resumed, music swelling, but a new tension lingered. A figure moved at the edge of the grounds, half hidden by the food stalls. Ethan's familiar silhouette caught the lantern light, his gaze intense, as if he'd been waiting for this moment. Before I could approach, he slipped into the shadows, leaving a cryptic note tucked into my folder. "Meet me at the Old Oak, midnight." The Harvest Festival's music pulsed through the Cleveland night, but a charged silence enveloped the church grounds as my revelation settled over the crowd. Lanterns cast flickering shadows, mirroring the shift in the air. Neighbors, once neutral, now whispered in clusters, their gazes piercing Diane and Robert. Mrs. Alvarez stepped forward, her voice steady. "We trusted you." Her words sparked a wave. Mr. Wilson, a local mechanic, nodded fiercely, and a young mother I'd helped at the hospital clapped, her applause spreading like wildfire. The community's rising support was a balm, transforming years of invisibility into a radiant strength. Diane's composure cracked, her hands wringing as she stammered apologies, each word hollow against the evidence I'd shared. Robert's shoulders slumped, his silence and admission heavier than any defense. Chad, cornered by glares, muttered under his breath, his earlier bravado extinguished. A memory surged, his smug toast at the supper, boasting of family loyalty, now a bitter irony. The folder of evidence, still clutched tightly, felt like a sword, its weight grounding me. "You chose Megan over me," I said, voice clear, cutting through the festival's hum. "But I choose myself." The declaration was a release, echoing Ethan's quiet faith in me from years past. Megan emerged from the crowd, her face streaked with tears, her elegance undone. "I didn't know," she choked, but the emails proved otherwise. Her plea stirred a pang. Once, we'd shared secrets as girls, dreaming under the same stars. That bond was gone, buried under her complicity. The crowd's murmurs grew, some skeptical, others softening, but their allegiance leaned toward me. A local lawyer, Miss Carter, approached, offering to file a claim against the bank, her firm handshake a promise of justice. The bank, pressured by the public outcry, had already frozen the stolen funds, pending review. Victory tasted bittersweet, laced with the ache of a family lost. The festival's light seemed brighter, the community's embrace a new kind of home. Mrs. Alvarez hugged me, whispering, "You're our family now." Her words healed wounds I hadn't named, echoing the strength I'd found on that stage. Yet a question lingered. Why had Megan stayed silent until now? Her tears hinted at a deeper truth, one I wasn't ready to unravel. The silver ring, left behind at home, no longer held sway. My heart carried a different promise, to never let anyone dim my light again. Ethan's note, tucked in my pocket, burned with possibility, its cryptic meeting time drawing near. As the crowd dispersed, music fading into the crisp autumn air, a new energy coursed through me. The pain of betrayal had forged a fiercer spirit, one that stood tall under the stars. Miss Carter's card, pressed into my hand, was a tangible step toward reclaiming my $20,000, but the real triumph was the voice I'd reclaimed. A rustle in the nearby trees broke my reverie. Someone lingered beyond the festival's glow, their silhouette sharp against the moonlight. My breath caught as a glint of metal flashed in their hand, raising a chilling question. Was this Ethan, or had my family sent someone to silence me? Moonlight spilled through the blinds of my Cleveland apartment, casting a serene glow over the sparse room where I sat, the weight of the Harvest Festival's triumph settling into a quiet calm. The bank had restored my $20,000, Miss Carter's legal pressure ensuring every cent returned, but the true victory lay in the stillness within. No longer tethered to Diane's hollow promises or Robert's dismissive grunts, the absence of their judgment felt like freedom. A small box on the table held the silver ring, its family engraving a relic of a past I'd outgrown. Instead of sorrow, a gentle peace bloomed, rooted in the choice to let go. Morning brought a walk through the neighborhood where autumn leaves crunched underfoot, each step a testament to a new beginning. The community's embrace lingered. Mrs. Alvarez's warm hug, Mr. Wilson's proud nod, replacing the family I'd lost with one forged in trust. A letter from the hospital slipped under my door, praised my dedication, offering a promotion to head nurse. The recognition, once craved from Diane, now mattered most from those who saw my worth. A fleeting memory of Megan's tear-streaked face at the festival stirred no anger, only a quiet resolve to move forward without her shadow. At the local coffee shop, the clink of mugs and soft jazz created a haven where I penned a social media post, thanking the town for standing by me. Messages flooded in, women from across Cleveland, strangers and friends, sharing their own stories of betrayal and resilience. Their words wove a tapestry of solidarity, each one a reminder that worth isn't tied to blood. The post's final line, "I'm enough," echoed a truth I'd fought to claim, its simplicity a shield against the doubts that once plagued me. Ethan's note, still unread in my pocket, waited for midnight, its promise a soft pulse of curiosity. By afternoon, the apartment felt lighter, cleansed of old photos and keepsakes tied to a family that never truly knew me. A vision of the Maple Street house, modest but mine, took shape, fueled by the restored savings and a fierce determination. The hospital's offer meant stability, a foundation to build that dream. A moment of clarity struck. The pain of betrayal had carved space for a stronger self, one unafraid to stand alone. The community's faith, not Diane's approval, had illuminated that path, their voices a chorus of belonging. Evening settled, and the decision to skip Ethan's midnight meeting felt right, a choice to prioritize my own healing over his mystery. The note, tucked away, could wait. My heart needed no more unanswered questions. As candles flickered, casting warmth across the room, a new strength anchored me, worthy not because of others, but because of the battles fought and won. A soft knock at the door broke the silence, unexpected at this hour. Through the peephole, a familiar face stood under the porch light, holding a letter that bore my name in Megan's handwriting. Dawn painted the Cleveland sky in hues of rose and gold, a quiet promise of renewal as I stood on my apartment balcony, the city waking below. The letter from Megan, delivered last night, remained unopened on the table, its weight a choice I wasn't ready to face. The Harvest Festival's victory had reshaped me, not through vengeance, but through the courage to claim my worth. The community's embrace, Mrs. Alvarez's fierce pride, Miss Carter's steady guidance, had woven a new family, one bound by respect, not obligation. Their strength reminded me that true bonds lift you up, never tear you down. At the hospital, morning rounds felt lighter, each patient's smile a mirror of my own quiet joy. The promotion to head nurse, now official, was more than a title. It was proof that my work mattered, seen by those who valued it. A colleague's shared story of overcoming her own family's doubts sparked a realization. My journey could light the way for others. The social media post, now viral with thousands of comments, had become a beacon, connecting women across the country who'd felt invisible. Their voices, raw and resilient, urged me to keep speaking, to keep shining. Midday brought a walk to the church grounds, where the festival's lanterns still hung, swaying gently in the breeze. A child's laughter echoed, a reminder of the life I was building, one free from Diane's cold judgments or Chad's cruel taunts. Ethan's note, still unread, no longer held urgency. My heart sought peace, not new mysteries. A vow formed under the open sky, to live boldly, to chase the Maple Street house, to never again let anyone dim my spirit. The silver ring, now in a donation box, was a final goodbye to a past that no longer defined me. By evening, a quiet moment at my desk birthed a new post, a call to action. Find your voice, seek those who see you, and never settle for less than you deserve. The words flowed from a place of hard-won clarity, meant to inspire every woman who'd ever felt small. Questions lingered. What stories would others share? How would they rise? The thought of their answers, waiting in comments and messages, felt like a shared journey, a sisterhood forged in truth. As night fell, stars pierced the Cleveland sky, each a spark of possibility. The unopened letter from Megan sat untouched, its contents a bridge I might never cross. A faint chime from my phone broke the stillness, a new message, not from her, but from Ethan, his words simple yet piercing. "I'm proud of you. Can we talk?" My heart skipped, torn between closure and the unknown, as a new chapter waited just beyond my reach.